In the calm halls of Kisumu's medical institutions, he was known as a healer, a man who fought not just for patients, but for fellow nurses across Kenya. Ferdinand Ongeri, husband, son, friend, union leader. But what began as a quest for healing ended in horror. In the shadows, his trusted friend, a herbalist from Uganda, watched it all unravel. This is the true story of a friendship that turned fatal, a story soaked in betrayal, greed, and death deep in a forest. You are watching Across the Dark, and this is the story of the nurse and the herbalist. Ferdinand Ongeri was more than a nurse. At just 40, he held a powerful role as the deputy chair of the Kenya National Union of Nurses in Kisumu, based at the Ramogi Institute of Advanced Technology. Ongeri wasn't just healing bodies, he was fighting for the rights of healthcare workers. He was the kind of man who negotiated promotions, resolved strikes, and uplifted the profession. Days before his death, he had successfully secured promotions for nurses across Kisumu. But even warriors need healing, and for that, Ongeri turned to a man called Mawanda Asoma. Mawanda Asoma was a 52-year-old herbalist from Uganda. He traveled across Eastern Africa, Uganda, Kenya, Tanzania, Rwanda, offering remedies made from roots and the barks of trees. His clients came in search of relief from obesity, infertility, bad luck, and court cases. But to some, he was more than a healer. He was spiritual, mysterious, and powerful. And that's exactly what Ongeri needed, or thought he needed. The two met in 2016 in Kisumu through a mutual associate, another Ugandan herbalist named Jamiru Senkai. Ongeri first approached Asoma seeking help with his weight and spiritual wellness. He believed people at his workplace were plotting against him. He feared for his job. He felt watched. And so began a relationship built not just on medicine, but on trust and secrecy. The bond deepened. Ongeri bought Asoma a mobile phone for private communication only. They stayed in touch regularly. In 2018, Ongeri invited Asoma to his hometown in Kisii to bless a newly built house. Friends began to wonder, had Ongeri become too dependent on this healer? Ongeri had just succeeded in one of the biggest victories for Kisumu nurses, improved pay and promotions. This was in July 2019, but shortly after, he vanished. No goodbye, no text, his phone went silent. His wife, Brosi Makimtingwa, also a nurse, tried calling him again and again. Nothing. The silence grew louder. Days passed. Then came the smell. Kimondi Forest, Nandi County, a place of beauty and secrets. Herdsmen stumbled across something grotesque near Kapsabet town, a decomposing body, slashed and broken, deep cuts across the abdomen, bruises across the torso, mouth torn open, neck broken, throat slit. It was Ferdinand Ongeri. Emily Cherono, the Kiptuya area chief, arrived at the scene. She testified that it was clear this was no random murder. A vehicle had transported the body. He had been tortured and then dumped. Suspicion quickly turned to his last associate, the man he had trusted with his fears, the herbalist Mawanda Asoma. Authorities uncovered a trail, phone records, witnesses. Asoma's colleague, Jamiru, revealed everything. The treatments, the blessings, the spiritual consultations, the growing hold Asoma had on Ongeri. And while Asoma claimed innocence, saying Ongeri was just his best friend, the court thought otherwise. Judge Ruben Nyakundi found Asoma guilty of murder in July 2025. After 5 years of investigations and delays, he was sentenced to 25 years in prison. The court concluded that the murder had been deliberate, malicious, cruel, and very gruesome. They believed Ongeri's death was premeditated and brutal. Ongeri left behind a grieving family. His wife, Brosi, broken. His mother, Isabel Ongeri, a retired nurse, still waiting for the son who promised to visit. The nurse who fought for others had no one to fight for him when it mattered the most. And in the end, he was failed. not by his enemies, but by the man he called a friend. In the shadows of East Africa's healing traditions lies a very dark undercurrent of manipulation, trust misplaced, and life stolen. And this was not just the story of a healer and a client, it was a story of control, fear, and betrayal. If you found this story haunting, do well to subscribe to our channel, where every story is raw, real, and unforgettable. See you on the next one. Stay safe.